Now, the Income Tax Department has conducted raids and unearthed over 100 crore rupees in cash from two liquor distilleries in Odisha and Jharkhand. These distilleries are linked to the Congress member of the parliament, Dheeraj Sahu. So huge was the quantity of the currency notes that the counting machines stopped working after a point, and the IT officials ran out of bags to fill them with the currency notes. The BJP has charged into the Congress, linking this 100 crore cash haul to Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren and demanding that he resign. BJP has also trained guns on the Congress High Command, demanding where did this money get funneled. Just recently, the Mahadev betting app scam came to surface, where funds to the tune of 500 crores were allegedly siphoned off by the former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. The probe continues to take place in both the cases. I'm going to start my conversation. I'll start my conversation first with Sharad Kohli. Sharad, politics and corruption go hand in hand, or this is what we are used to from time immemorial. In India, there have been corruption cases, scams that have taken place, 2G scam, the Commonwealth scam, and so on and so forth. So does this come as a surprise that there has been 100 crore rupees in cash that has been found at two of these entities that belong to a Congress member of the parliament?
No, Megha, I'm not surprised because, being very apolitical, I'm a very apolitical person, but as a citizen of the country, as an economist, and I come very regularly on your channel as well, besides going to other media platforms, as an observer, this is my thought. And my thought says that if you're used to doing something nefarious, if you're used to doing something wrong for a very long time, you take it as a normal. There's nothing wrong in doing it. I'm fine doing this. Why should somebody point fingers at doing this? Everybody does that. Then suddenly in 2014, a new order comes to rule. And that new order doesn't want to tolerate this. There is zero tolerance on this. And suddenly this new order decides to probably unearth, expose, and stop this nonsense from happening. Now, obviously, the old order, I'm narrating it like a story. The old order says, what's happening? You're targeting us. For politics, this is normal. For us carrying cash, for politicians to be corrupt, for cash being handled just before elections, just after elections, during elections, for politicians to be handling cash, dealing in cash, giving cash, taking cash. It was felt that this is normal. Now, unfortunately, going by the law of the land, this is not normal. If you're carrying cash, you have to explain it. Why are you dealing in cash in this country? As per the tax laws, Megha, you're not supposed to be handling a cash beyond a certain limit. I cannot give somebody more than 20,000 rupees in cash as a deposit or a loan as per a section in income tax called section 269. I cannot give cash. So if somebody is carrying cash, you have to explain why and how are you carrying cash?
Yeah.
In an era where digital money is the new norm, in an era where a cash in circulation in this country has fallen down from 33.5 lakh crores in the last 2 months for the first time, Megha. I'm making a very interesting observation on your channel today. For the first time, cash in circulation in this country has come down thanks to UPI, thanks to the digital India, thanks to the digital money, thanks to the fintech. Now, in such an era, why is there a need to carry so much cash? And the fact that you're carrying so much cash, you have to explain the reasons for carrying. Obviously, 100 crore rupees of cash cannot be explained under any section of either Income Tax Act or under the FEMA. So when you cannot explain the cash, there is only one way it can be construed, that this is coming out of corruption. Yeah. And if this cash gets caught, then you have to if you can't give a reason, I am sorry, you violated the law of the land and you should be prepared to take the punishment, Megha. It's as simple as that.
Professor Madhav Nalapat, if we take a look at the precedent that has been set in our country, whether it is about the Commonwealth Games scam, or we talk about the 2G scam, or we talk about Colgate. Now, there was, lakhs and crores of rupees that had been siphoned off in these scams. Has anybody been held accountable? And when nobody has been held accountable in the past, the politicians who are at this point of time associated, allegedly linked to this IT hall that has taken place, whether in Jharkhand or we talk about Chhattisgarh, will they have any fear of the law?
Megha, the whole point is that, when you levy allegations of corruption against the central government, and as has correctly been said by the previous speaker, a government that is focusing very hard on ensuring that the cash component comes down, and the transparent component, I'd call it the non-transparent component, which is cash. And the transparent component is digital money and money through bank transfers. And that comes up. You have to, you have to basically walk the talk. You can talk about corruption, but then when somebody in your own party, of an important personage, is caught with 100 crores, now the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to say that, oh my God, this raid was vindictive, it was caused for political reasons? The fact of the matter is that there has been a lot of effort by the agencies to track these kind of funds and to make people account for them. And the income tax, frankly, the working of the income tax department now has been much simplified, in the sense that now, you go there, you explain, and then, they're not going to take a hostile attitude if you have a bona fide explanation. The old days of tax terrorism are over. So from all that point of view, Megha, what this exposes is basically the utter hypocrisy of those who say that, look, we are a special class. We are politicians. And as politicians, we have immunity from this kind of activity. At one point in time, Megha, in the 90s, I remember I used to go to that state very often. People in Kashmir, they had a kind of immunity. No income tax, no question of CBI, no ED, nothing at all. Now, all those agencies are there. And this is the difference, frankly, Megha. And the point is, accountability has come in, and some people are not comfortable with that.
Okay. Now, Tariq Khan, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, we tried to get a Congress spokesperson. They refused to be part of this discussion. But I have right now a Samajwadi Party spokesperson. I'm going to get a response from you. In such a situation, do you think, and I understand, I'm forecasting what the narrative of the Congress at this point of time is going to be, what the narrative of this Congress member of the parliament is going to be, that this is vendetta politics being played by the BJP, that the IT department is being used as a tool by the BJP to attack the Congress, to humiliate the Congress, to bring bad name to the Congress. And such narratives have been used several times in the past, and you would know very well about it.
No, what I want to say, let the agency do their work. Why not being Tomar's son, a video which has been roaming here and there since last 1 month, why he's not been, any type of probe has been not done against him? Means at least probe should be started. Now, what happened to 2G scam? In 2017, all the accused were acquitted by the court. So let the agency at least probe them. We have seen the video now. Then, if they are not guilty, the agency will say, or the court will say that they are not guilty. They all will be free. But at least probe should be started. Now that's why we have been asking these type of questions. That why have been? One of my friend asked me that. That who would be the next one, who will be probed by these agencies? I'll say, yes, I know very well the person who is speaking against the government. Let me speak a lot against the government. I'll be probed in a manner government won't. This should not be done. If we say that there is a weapon ghotala and all that, let the agency or the court decide that whether it is a ghotala or not. What happened to the 2G scam? Exactly like that. But if 95%...
But what are you saying? There is 100 crore rupees that have been found at the premises of these entities, distilleries that are linked to a Congress member of the parliament. Is it imaginable that this money is white money?
No. let the probe be started. Let everything be done in a very sequential way, as the agency have already raided. You also have raided to the house of Azam Khan. Nobody have stopped any type of agency to raiding all these places. Is anybody, if Akhilesh Yadav or Samajwadi Party saying or Congress is saying that don't raid, but we are saying raid is just a type of new thing in the politics, that who are speaking against the government, raid them. This is not fair. Or let's have a probe against the Tomar Sam as well, against Vyapam Ghotala as well, against Waterline Ghotala of the Chief Minister of Assam, against him also, against everybody, and let the agency.
So are you saying that this probe that has been conducted by the IT department at this Congress member of the Parliament's business entities, these distilleries, is this vendetta politics? Because it is a Congress leader whose businesses have been raided.
It's question to me.
Yeah.
Name me anybody from the BJP, which means everyone who belongs to Bharatiya Janata Party or have any type of connection, either it's business or political, they have a type of watch Mr. India, they become visible for these agencies or like that. If something is that, then let me also bought that is watch Mr. India watch, then I'll be invisible for these type of agencies.
Okay, fair enough. Vinita Ariyaran, would you like to respond? Where if you are in the BJP, all of your crimes, corruption cases are brushed under the carpet, you are absolved of all the corruption crimes that you have committed, and only when the opposition parties are caught red-handed, it is vendetta politics at play.
No, absolutely not. Time and again, we have reiterated the point that the Enforcement Directorate and the income tax departments are independent agencies who conduct their probes based on, evidence that they get, and on the strength of their investigation, the efficacy on the ground is where the conviction rate comes. And we know the Enforcement Directorate has a 96% conviction rate in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which has also been kind of validated by the Supreme Court that these are not just witch rides or witch hunts, but these are actually cases with proof on the ground, and where the ED is actually being able to get a conviction rate, they're able to get the accused, pin down the accused. And so it so happens that all of these, the people who are committing the crimes are from the Congress party. So the Indian National Congress has nothing more to say, because, we have seen the result, the debacle in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. It's all because of the kind of corruption that has been, seen on the ground by the people themselves, be it the paper leak, be it the liquor scam in Chhattisgarh, be it the cow dung scam, whatnot, so on and so forth. There are so many scams and so many cases of money laundering. So, and to say that, the Enforcement Directorate is only targeting the opposition parties is absolutely false, because if we look at the statistics of the Enforcement Directorate, only 3% of the cases are against MPs and MLAs. Rest of them are pure money laundering cases. So there's no question of we targeting only the opposition parties, but it so happens the corruption is stemming from the Indian National Congress, because the Congress is degenerating as a party, and there is a huge cash crunch in that party, and the kind of guarantees and freebies that they offer to the various state governments that they go to elections for, the poll promises, they need to get the money from somewhere, and this is the source of money. So we can see that the war against corruption.
The case is like Tariq Khan said that why don't you have a probe against the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, or for that matter, as soon as the NCP has joined hands with the BJP in Maharashtra, all of the corruption cases against the NCP leaders have disappeared. So at this point of time, is it a politics of favoritism? Because you are on the side of the government, you are not under the scanner.
No, absolutely not, Megha. So as I said, it's based on evidence. It's an evidence-based kind of inquiry that's happening by the ED, and it just shows the efficiency of the Enforcement Directorate on the ground. Because if you see the UPA time, the kind of conviction rates that they had and the kind of conviction rates that we've had post 2014, it just shows the efficiency of the Enforcement Directorate now. And also to say that, the Enforcement Directorate is only targeting opposition parties is also absolutely false, because it's where the corruption stems from.
I have an issue. I
didn't interrupt when you spoke, so let me complete.
I'm saying nothing. I have just an issue.
I'll come to you, Tariq Khan, as soon as Vinita finishes.
She's putting
if you look at the Enforcement
Directorate, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Yeah.
The data is
the Enforcement Directorate website. There are about 800 and odd cases of money laundering there, where the properties have been seized, and those are across the country. They're not just in states where the BJP is not ruling. It is across the country. It's there in Dehradun, in Gujarat, properties have been seized. Cooperative societies in Gujarat, there also properties have been seized. So wherever there is corruption, the ED will step in and ED will do its role.
Okay, Tariq, quickly coming to you. What is it that you wanted to refute? Can you hear me, Tariq? Okay, I think Tariq has been disconnected. We'll try to get him back on the telecast. But Sharad, it's unfortunate. Every single time I put political parties, there is a slugfest. They each blame each other. But unfortunately, to be honest, this is the taxpayers' money that is being laundered, that is being funneled, by which there are big bungalows, there are these parks. I remember Mayawati, she had spent crores and crores of rupees to building these parks, to building her statues, to setting up these elephants in granite, and I don't know where all she got in the marbles and the sandstone and so on and so forth. In this ostentatious way of showcasing wealth and being arrogant about it. What happened to Mayawati? What happened to A. Raja? What happened to Sheila Dikshit under the Commonwealth Games? I again reiterate. So these are matters, these are issues, this is a perennial problem, and we continue to fall prey to our politicians, and we then go blindsidedly to the voting stations to again vote and to again become prey to these narratives, to these promises, to these manifestos during the campaigning time.
Yes, Megha, that's the unfortunate part of the whole political system in India, that we don't have a choice. We again go back to the same people, and I think the concept of clean politicians, concept of clean politics, is very, very difficult to find. Because the corruption is so deeply imbibed in the whole system, because it's been there for so many years now. It's been there for decades, that it's finding very very hard to get itself uprooted. That's my first point. Now, to the point which Tariq Bhai was making, I would like to answer. I mean, I don't want to get into the slugfest between Samajwadi Party or BJP or Congress or BJP or whatever. I don't want to get into that. But my point is, the main theme of the debate today, the issue, 100 crore rupees cash found. Now, I'll put just one tagline: 100 crore rupees cash found. Now, Tariq Bhai was saying that it should be investigated. He's right. Coming from the world of finance and economics, I just wanted to inform that in no kind of business whatsoever, you can accumulate 100 crore rupees cash. Even if you are into retail business, there is no retail shop which can be collecting cash of 100 crore rupees. There is no agriculture business where you can collect, one farmer can collect 100 crore rupees in cash, although there are cash deals done in agriculture to a certain extent. But I don't think we have that rich an agricultural sector where one farmer collects 100 crore rupees. So the very fact, now here is, I'm trying to make a point where you don't need an agency to prove anything. Right. Because the simple fact that you found 100 crore cash is itself an evidence that there is something which is not correct, or this money is coming out of either corruption, or it is black money, or it is a money which is not legal. And this kind of money floating in the political system, what happens to this money? This money goes on in election campaigns. This money is sometimes, I heard of 2,000 rupees note being distributed at the time when they were legal tender. They are still legal tender, by the way, but 2,000 rupees being distributed to the voters, to a certain class of voters to give the vote. Right. So cash for votes. I think we need to bring a very comprehensive law. And the whole concept of electoral bonds, I think that is a very important point, Megha, which needs to be mentioned in your debate today. These electoral bonds, I think, also have been criticized by the Supreme Court this time, that the electoral bonds, they are of 2,000 rupees. They are bearer bonds. The issue opens, I go and buy. I think until and unless transparency in the whole election process, transparency in the funding being done to the political parties is brought in, this perennial problem is not going to be solved.
I agree with you. But the politicians are also not wanting to solve this problem because it is not to their benefit. Professor Madhavan Alapat, when you talk about when we talk about electoral bonds, none of the political parties will come out openly and say, the opacity of the bonds is then a questionable, something that's questionable, whether it is the BJP or the Congress or any other political party.
Can I just respond?
Yeah.
That's simply because if this becomes transparent, some of the funds which is coming out of the parallel economy into the political parties, those funds will stop coming. They will say, अब हमारे पास देने के लिए पैसा नहीं है, तुमने तो सारा कुछ white कर दिया है. I'm sorry, I'm putting this in inverted commas. So I think that is where you hit the root of the problem. So I think if we bring transparency to funding, you will automatically find that this kind of money will not flow, at least into the political system. It may flow into illegal activities. It may flow into other things. But from the political system to be cleansed, I think we need to bring transparency in funding, and all political parties, Megha. I'm being very, very apolitical in saying all political parties have to sit together. They have to agree. All politicians have to agree that if they stop this, what happens to political funding? Will political funding continue to come at the speed and the volume which comes, or is it going to completely stop or become negligible, Megha?
Okay. Professor Nalapat, quickly your response. Again, we talk about, utopia. In an ideal society, that's exactly what is desired and that's exactly what should happen. But we don't live in a utopian society, and obviously there are these, demands and supply politics that plays out. There is obviously politicians, political parties who would definitely not want themselves to be exposed, and therefore it's something similar to how reservation works. And until and unless there's political will, you can't really change the system.
Well, look, the system can change provided the public is aware and alert. And I'd like to point out, Megha, the reason for corruption is that there is an effort to make high-level people in the government, state level and different levels, right down to the panchayat level, take decisions that are not optimal for the people. If there is an optimal decision, let us say, for example, I have a first-class technique that is not only low cost, but very valuable to the public interest. Well, I would expect an honest government to choose my technique. But then what happens? Somebody else with a much worse technique. And unfortunately, in several cases, you have people, imported, such items get imported. And those who do the importing, they know very well that the Indian product is much better. But then what do? They bribe somebody at some level, and then you get the inferior product, whereas you should have got the good product. And very often you find the person who's making the good product cannot sell his product properly, and he has to shut down his business, or worse, sell it to most likely some foreign entity, and then basically, either sell it, or he'll be hounded, he'll be harassed, he'll be humiliated, all because he did something good. This is what used to happen in the past. And there is a change now. And I would say one of the important factors behind that change has been digital India. The digital world has enabled hundreds of millions of Indians to have a voice, to have a say in decisions.
Right.
And to have an eye on decisions, to have a ear as to what's going on. And as a consequence, I can tell you, the system is being cleaned up, especially since 2014, when the digital push really started. There is no question that the system is being cleaned up because the public is more alert and the public is demanding a lot.
Okay.
And that is why I think Sharat's wish will come true in the next few years.
Okay. All right. Quickly then, Tariq, getting you back into the telecast. Obviously, you had concerns today. You were talking about some statistics.
No, what I said that means it should be reconfirmed about the conviction rate of ED. Means I'm not sure that the data presented is right, but it should be reconfirmed once. This is my point number one. Second is, who is stopping these agencies to do any type of probe against Tomar Singh, Tomarson? Who is stopping these agencies? Nothing could be more proof healthy as a video has been. It has been roaming since last many months here and there. And what I've been forced to say that the corruption has been divided into parts. I am accepting that corruption is everywhere, but it has been divided by the ruling government in two parts. One is corruption shielded by Bharatiya Janata Party. They'll be shielded. They'll having that watch, Mr. India. They'll be responsible for these agencies. You cannot see them, but they are doing the same thing. And on the other side, the non-shielded person will be raided, will be put behind the bars. This is quite unfair and this is not good.
I'm not saying maybe this is less fair. Obviously, this gentleman who has been caught red-handed, he has had funds worth 100 crore rupees. Obviously, he is culpable. Obviously, this is money that has been laundered or this is black money. So while I agree with your point that okay, fine, if an individual, he may be from an opposition party, he has been caught red-handed, he has to be put behind bars, he has to be held accountable, but at the same time, like you mentioned, there has to be the same sort of a probe that needs to be initiated in a fair, unbiased way against all politicians against whom there are these allegations that have been levied. Quickly, Vinita, a quick response from you before I wrap up this discussion. So why this non-equal, biased treatment being shown to politicians who are from the BJP versus those who are not?
No, like I said before, first of all, the conviction rate against politicians, against MPs and MLAs is only 3% of the total cases as far as the enforcement directorate is concerned. And as far as the money laundering, I've already said there's a more than 90% conviction rate, which is absolutely true. The statistics are true. It is from the Government of India's statistics itself. So we have to believe the Government of India data sources. And as far as the non-BJP versus BJP leaders and the accused, coming from the Congress, it is so that shows where the corruption needle is pointing towards. It's the source of corruption is coming from the opposition parties. So, so that's where the ED goes. The ED goes where the corruption is, where the source of corruption is. And as I said, if you look at the website of the ED, there are 800 odd money laundering cases which have been registered, which are spread across India, across states, which is beyond politics. So it is where the crime is. The ED reaches there and the conviction rate is improved because the efficiency of performance of government agencies under this regime has improved tremendously. And as Professor Nalapat said, and also every other person in the panel said about the digitalization of our economy. Why are we digitalizing our economy? We're making it more transparent. So we are trying to track and trace all the flow of money that happens in the economy, which is why our country is doing so well and we've grown from fragile 5 to top 5 in the globe.
Fair enough. All right, you've had all your points to mention in this discussion. I'm out of time, but thank you for watching. And like I said, there have been these scams to the tunes of lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees in the past. What has happened to the politicians who have been involved in these scams? And if there is precedent that has been set, can the government of today and the independent agencies change the course and hold the people accountable and bring them to book?
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.